Let me just reassure you that President Trump has personally spoken to me about locating those 300,000 children who disappeared over the last 4 years.
I don't think anybody has a fully accurate number, but it's hundreds of thousands, I agree.
And many of them we know have been sex trafficked and childhood slavery, and it is a blight on America's moral authority, and we need to find those kids.
Watching the world burn, January 30th, 2024. Let's get into it. Now, up front, I had the meme that's going around of Elizabeth Warren, with the woo, 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 and you're probably wondering, what the hell was that all about? But then I wanted to include the clip of the greatest, one snippet of the testimony that RFK Jr. was given. I'm going to tell you what, Democrats are some evil freaking people, man. They just torched themselves completely. Elizabeth Warren being the worst of all. I mean, my God, what's going around on X right now? I mean, I don't know what they're thinking about. And I mean, because this video is going to be mainly about RFK and what took place up there, but I really wanted to talk about Trump a bit too. But anyway, it was horrible. The things, and they, they would cut him off, and I tell you, I don't understand how these people could just sit there and just take it. I mean, I would just rise up. I mean, I'd be in jail for sure. I would rise up out of my chair, punch a Democrat in the nose. And, it was kind of like when my sister-in-law accused me of being a white racist. And I said, get the heck out of my house, But anyway, so yeah, it was insane. And that's why I wanted to include the contrast, the two up front. And I had to watch it because I got to report on these things. I'm not going to make you watch but one clip so you can just see what really took place in that whole fiasco of RFK Jr. And just so you know, we got Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham. I mean, they actually, before all the testimony took place, they came out and said they will not vote for RFK Jr. And we're going to talk about this. I was just watching a video by Stefan Gardner, and he met with a guy that I had never heard of before. But I'm telling you, I was like, wow, it's a good thing I saw this video before I made this video. And he was saying, no, we can't wait to get Mitch McConnell to. He might die soon, who knows, or Lindsey Graham for the next election. We need to recall them. Okay, so if you live in South Carolina or Kentucky, you need to start working on your petition to recall them, and I'll put that in this video. And of course, I repost on US Republic or republic.us, and there I can CC some politicians. We got to get them out, man. Mitch McConnell, I mean, he's compromised. He's got money from China out the kazoo. He's made millions of dollars collecting money from China. Lindsey Graham, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's just a freaking lunatic. I don't know. But I heard that Trump might play golf with him. Trump, man, don't hang around that dude, man. Anyway, so let's, the first piece of news, the breaking news is that there was a helicopter that flew into a plane in Washington, D.C. And I guess a lot of the parts and everything landed in the Potomac. And so they're doing a rescue operation. And from what I understand, there are some people that have been rescued. Now, I'm not going to cover it any further than that because, there's going to be speculation, what caused the crash, how many people died, and all of that stuff. That's all going to come out. That's not the purpose of this video. I just wanted to give you the breaking news. And then the other one that you probably didn't know about is Biden left the astronauts up on the space station. They've been up there quite some time. And I'm going to tell you, man, can you imagine that's a rough life when you're on a space station? Imagine just going to the bathroom in zero gravity. I mean, I'm not trying to gross you out, but I mean, think about it. I mean, because you got to cath all that stuff out. I mean, I'm used to it because, I got my broken neck. But I mean, I'm going to tell you, man, it's brutal. And I'm sure they just want to come back to Earth. And Trump has tasked Elon Musk to get up there and rescue them. And Elon said he's going to do it. So this was the next post. And so we're going to get into the JFK. Sorry, my nose is itching. Dr. Jerome Corsi. You can follow him on X. It's Jerome, Jerome Corsi, Corsi. You know, obviously I'll have it up above. And he says, why are the intel agency algorithms in state voter data? Now, the Stephen Gardner, this was just a recent video. Go watch it. It's on YouTube. And he was talking about that the Democrats have installed these algorithms into the databases. And so a lot of the down ballot races were rigged, even in this election. That's why in like California, it took 58 days or 38 days or whatever it was to count the ballots, because the way the machine worked. And so he's saying that once Pam Bondi and Kash Patel get in there, he's going to present all the evidence to them, and that we may have some races that get overturned. And so we should get some more Republicans in the House and in the Senate, because those were rigged races. And that's why Carrie Lake said she won't run again in Arizona, because she realizes it's all rigged, man. It's all rigged. And so if this really comes out, and I'm going to tell you, I watched the interview, this guy's for real, and he knows Donald Trump, and he's got Donald Trump's ear, and so he's going to be presenting all this evidence, and so we'll see where it goes. And he had a lot of stuff to say about other things. So anyway, go watch that video, but we got a lot of other stuff to get into. Now, this is relating to the upfront video, but I'm going to tell you this. I just want to read it to you just to remind you what was in that. Was one of the most important moments the RFK Jr.'s hearing was the snippet about Trump discussing the hundreds of thousands of missing children. For some reason, we never hear the Democrats talk about these children or human trafficking. Okay, I told people, they keep saying, oh man, it can't be that bad. The Democrats wouldn't human traffic children all over the country. I'm telling you, the Democrats are pure evil, man. They have trafficked children everywhere. And I'm going to keep hitting on this thing. Every time I get a piece of evidence that Democrats are trafficking human children, raping children, the pedophiles, I'm going to put it in my videos. All right, so anyway, that's why I put that up front. And then, by the way, this kind of summarizes my opinion of what took place. And, you know, I like to read other people because they put things much more eloquently than I can. And this was DC Drano. No matter what happens to RFK's nominations, Dems lost big today. This man dedicated his life to making children healthier and our food less poisonous. He doesn't throw jabs across the aisle like most politicians. He just wants to reform Big Pharma. And by viciously attacking him, Dems exposed who they truly work for. Yeah, if you didn't know, my last video, I told you that most of Congress works for Big Pharma, Big Food, but the Dems, I mean, at least the Republicans, they weren't vicious, man. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I've never seen anything like it. You know, every time RFK would try to answer the question, answer it, yes or no, yes or no, and RFK's like, I can't answer that yes or no. I need to. And then I don't care. If you won't answer the question, you're obviously guilty. You're a guilty bastard. You're a guilty son of a bitch. I don't care. And I mean, it just went on and on like that. And RFK couldn't get a word in otherwise. I mean, it was vicious. The vitriol, the foam coming out of the Democrats' mouths. It was just horrible to watch. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. And I got one clip. I'll only torture you with one clip. I watched a lot of the testimony, and I'm going to tell you what, I wanted to, luckily I wanted to break the TV, but that wouldn't do me no good, right? But I tell you what, I wanted to post on X some crazy stuff, like that probably put me in jail. But anyway, so I didn't do it. I just took it easy. And so let's get into the latest. Here's another Democrat story for you. So this is AMU's DEI, and very appropriate. DEI LA Mayor Karen Bass is hiring an outside consultant to rebuild the Pacific Palisades in a more equitable and environmentally sustainable and friendly way. She intends to award the contract without authorization from the property owners, and I've got the post up above. Now, why would she do something like that? Even after Trump just torched her, She's lining her pockets, lining her pockets. That's who Democrats are, lining her pockets. And so anyway, I just won't go into that. This is bad. I wanted to get this post out of the way. President Trump signed an executive order to deport pro-Hamas students on visas that break the law. Man, this is a mistake. We're going down a slippery slope here. Why don't we sign an executive order that anybody who's anti-Christian needs to be put in jail, or anybody who's anti-Muslim needs to be put in jail, or anybody who's anti-Democrat, right? Not like me. I need to be put in jail. Or anti-Republican. We need to put them in jail. Or anti-dog. They need to be put in jail. You see my point? This is a stupid thing. And by the way, the reason being is because Trump's administration is bought and paid for by the Israeli lobby. Okay, and they're getting him to sign, and they gave him a lot of money. So I call Trump out when I see foul, I call it out, man. And I'm MAGA all the way. But I'm calling foul on this one. And anti-Semite executive order. We don't need that. That's what the law enforcement's there for. I mean, if they come in and they're torturing Jews that are trying to get to their classes, of course they need to be arrested. You don't need a freaking executive order. No, he says deport them because they're over here on visas. Okay, that might just nail a few of them. But what about the students that are American citizens that are protesting what took place? And by the way, I've got a lot of videos on Gaza that I'm not posting because I'm kind of back. I'm off the naughty list somewhat on X, maybe not on ScrewTube, but I'm off the naughty list, and so I don't want to post this. But I'll just tell you, like today, I just got another video, and it was a doctor that she was talking about the fact that all these kids, because she was out doing humanitarian work in Gaza, and she said all these kids were coming in shot by sniper rifles. You think I'm going to post that video? Okay, and was she lying? I don't know. I didn't see the kids with the shot through their head or shot through their bodies. She just said they were coming into the hospitals. It was a very believable video. Obviously, I won't be attaching that to this because I don't want to get banned again, or shadow banned, excuse me. And by the way, this guy up here at the top, he was talking about, and I was kind of like, man, dude, you're talking my game. Jerome Corsi, he says he's shadow banned everywhere. So I was like, man, welcome to my world, buddy. Welcome to my world. And then, by the way, so now I'm going to torture you. This is the video that I was talking about. RFK Jr., you're asking me not to sue pharma companies. Warren, no, I am not. My question is stop enriching. Elizabeth Warren, and by the way, if you didn't know, and I'm going to get to the post here in a minute, but all over X right now, they're posting how much money Big Pharma has donated to the Democrat candidates. I mean, it's astronomical. And this one here, it says Elizabeth Warren took $882,925 in campaign contributions from people in the health industry. So let's watch that video.
You financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You have said
you're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
Senator, I support vaccines. I support the childhood schedule.
All right, so there was that. And then this was this is Anna Matson. I never heard of her. And this is a 3-minute video. But I mean, this is another one. I didn't want this video to be all about JFK. I wanted to get into the Trump, executive orders and all of that. But it's just going to get too long. We may just have to just cut it off with just talking about because he ain't approved yet, right? We still got Kash Patel, and the most important approval is Tulsi Gabbard. Now, if you didn't know, there can always be recess appointments. All right. Now, I tell you, I know my brain don't work sometimes. I wanted to go back to the beginning when Stefan Gardner, because I want to admit when I'm wrong. And he was talking about the fact, and I was real happy about this yesterday, that Trump pulled the security teams from Fauci and Milley. Okay, and then of course P. Diddy, he's in prison right now, and he was saying the deep state's just going to kill him. They're going to Epstein him. They're going to Epstein him. Because they know all the secrets, and now that Biden pardoned Fauci and Milley, they can be brought into Congress and they have to testify and tell the truth. If they're caught in a lie, they can go to jail. And he said there's no way the deep state is going to allow them to testify. Now, they got plenty of money. And so, when I think about it, private security is probably better than having the Secret Service, because you never know if the Secret Service is working for the deep state. So it might not be a bad thing that Trump pulled the security details, but he was saying the deep state don't want them testifying before Congress because they know where all the skeletons are buried. And if Fauci starts admitting, that he was instructed by Obama to have weapons labs, bioweapons labs in Ukraine, or if Milley says that Biden told him that, to go along with the Russia hoax and all that other crap, if all that starts coming out, these guys are going to get deep sixed, or at least they're going to try. And I'm still worried about Trump. I think they're going to try to deep sink Trump, especially if he tries to get peace in Ukraine. Which, by the way, I want to hit on that again. Trump has got to get in touch with Putin, and they need to set up a meeting. Okay, so I want to go back and give you a little bit of a historical reference, just so that you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, Nixon, after that satanic idiot Johnson had killed, 1 million freaking people in Vietnam, when he took over, he had a chance to just, if he'd ended the war right there and said, no, this was the Democrats, because the Democrats are the warmongers, okay? If you don't understand, Democrats always start wars. They hate the world. They're depopulist. They're satanic. They're demonic, okay? But anyway, so when Nixon took over, they said, oh, no, you look weak. We got to continue the war. So it took him 3 years. So what happened was Nixon is identified with the Vietnam War, even though it was Johnson that caused it. And if Trump's not careful, he's going to be identified with the Ukraine war, even though the Biden administration started it and promoted it. And Hillary Clinton, it goes all the way back to 2014, with the Maidan coup and everything that took place. The Democrats engineered the whole damn thing. So Trump, man, you've got to get over there and you've got to end it, and you've got to say, this was Biden's war. I have got nothing to do with this. This was the Democrats' war. I don't own this. As the Trumpster, I don't own this. The Democrats own this war. They own the 1.2 million dead Ukrainians. They own the 100,000 dead Russians. This is all a Democrat-engineered fiasco, and that's what Trump needs to do. But anyway, so let's watch this. Senator Elizabeth Warren is for sale. We know that for sure. This is a 3-minute video. I tell you what, I like this girl. Anyway, let's watch that.
Hey, Massachusetts, are you good? How in the hell did you end up with 2 pharma-shills as your senators? Both of these senators have been very outspoken about RFK Jr., and we are going to do what we do best. We're going to see who's funding them, starting with Elizabeth Warren. But this is what she posted today. Say goodbye to your smile and say hello to polio. That's what's on the horizon if RFK Jr. becomes a secretary of HHS, and puts out this scripted video. And she even mentions how she's terrified of losing her fluoride from her water. But let's see if she really just cares about our health. She's received $491,000 from health professionals and $125,000 from pharmaceuticals or health products. Oh, and don't forget about the $108,000 from hospitals and nursing homes, for a grand total of $871,000 from the healthcare industry. And this is actually her cheapest selection out of all of them. And by the way, I always get asked where I find my data. This is Open Secrets. They do an amazing job. They collect their data right from the FEC website. The FEC website looks like this. This is where all the candidates have to report what they bring in and what they spend. And then Open Secrets takes this data and puts it together. So it's easy for us to digest. And as I was digging through all of this data, there's something else that caught my attention. I found this article that said that Elizabeth Warren condemned super PACs. Now she's benefiting from one. And this article talks about this Persist PAC. And at the time, they had no idea who was funding the PAC. But now we do. Carla Jerviston gave a whopping $14.6 million to support Elizabeth Warren for the Senate. This is her, and she is a physician. Not only did she attend Stanford, her father was a professor there for over 50 years. And to honor her father, she helped fund the construction of the new Stanford Medical Center. You know who else has ties to Stanford? Pfizer. Back in 2010, they gave a grant to Stanford saying that there's no strings attached. Put your hand up if you actually think that's true. I'm sure nobody. And the grant was $3 million to back new curriculum. But wait, there's more. Pfizer funded an independent educational grant program through, surprise, Stanford. How do all of these dots connect? Well, honestly, that's kind of difficult. As I was doing research, it is very clear that a lot has been hidden here. But this article may give us a hint. It looks like Stanford professors have been found to receive money right from big pharma companies like Eli Lilly. Why does this all matter? Funny enough, I think Dr. Casey Means has already given us the answer. She went to Stanford and was top of her class. She talks about how there was never a class about nutrition, about exercise. She simply learned a diagnosis and a pill to solve it. Because the minute that we find out that we can heal ourselves with food, think about whose bottom line is going to hurt real bad. So to summarize, in addition to all of the money that Elizabeth Warren receives through the healthcare industry, she also has some funny ties to Carla here. Do you think she's actually really concerned about him bringing back polio? Or is he just going to hurt her donors' bottom line? Let me know your thoughts, of course, and make sure you're following me for more.
All right, so wasn't that great? Wasn't that great? All right, so we got to keep going. So these are the numbers that I was telling you that I was going to present to you. So this is going all over X right now. And so these are the numbers that they've received. So Bernie Sanders, imagine this. He's gotten $417,633 from the pharmaceutical and health products. Of course, we already quoted Elizabeth Warren. She's second in line. You got Mark Kelly, Democrat out of Arizona. You got David Perdue. He's at 607,378. Now, I'm kind of going down the list. So anytime I give you a number, I just don't want to read all the numbers. The number above was bigger than this one. Then you got Thom Tillis. Imagine that. What is he? Isn't he the leader of the Senate right now? I think they took Mitch McConnell out. He got 513,000. Kelly Lafayette, Kevin McCarthy. Well, thank God Kevin McCarthy's gone, 400. So it just keeps going on there. And I'm not going to sit here and read all the damn numbers. But anyway, you could tell these people were bought and sold for by Big Pharma. And that's why, our health is so bad. This is just a clip because, and this was just something that I wanted you to see. Because like I said, this video kind of turned into a Robert Kennedy Jr., who I worship and I love, man. And I'm hoping that he can get in. And I think he's going to do good things for us. And like I said, Trump can recess appoint him. Okay, if the Senate doesn't approve him, that doesn't mean that he can't still go in and do his job, just like with Tulsi Gabbard, just like with Kash Patel. So Trump can recess appoint him. And especially if this guy is right and we overturn some of these Senate and House seats with the voter fraud that took place, that he was talking, he seemed to know what he was talking about, says he knows Trump, says, he's going to give all the evidence to Pam Bondi. Who knows? So if that takes place, we could see, anyway, let's just keep going. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., today over 100 members of Congress support a bill to fund Ozempic with Medicare at $1,500 a month. Most of these members have taken money from the manufacturer of that product, a European company called Novo Nordisk. As everyone knows, once the drug is approved for Medicare, it goes to Medicaid. And there is a push to recommend Ozempic for Americans as young as 6 over a condition, obesity, that is completely preventable and barely even existed 100 years ago. Since 74% of Americans are obese, the cost of all of them, if they take their Ozempic prescriptions, will be $3 trillion a year. This is a drug that has made Novo Nordisk the biggest company in Europe. It's a Danish company, which ironically, think about the Danish for trying to get Greenland. Or so I mean, a lot of people say that ain't going to happen, but who knows? We've got a military base there already. I don't see why we just can't maintain the status quo. And if Trump wants to worry about it, just increase the size of the base. I don't think that Denmark is going to go against it. But the Danish government does not recommend it. And can you imagine? Their own company, they don't recommend the product. The Danish government. It recommends a change in diet to treat obesity and exercise. Virtually, Novo Nordisk's entire value is based upon projections of what Ozempic is going to sell to Americans. For half the price of Ozempic, we could purchase regeneratively raised organic agriculture, organic food for every American, 3 meals a day, and gym membership for every obese American. Why are members of Congress doing the bidding of the Danish company instead of standing up for American farmers and children? Because Novo Nordisk is one of the largest funders of medical research. The media and politicians and the media schools go along with them. So this is the video of what RFK had to say about it. And I'm just trying to introduce you to RFK so that you know what a good dude this guy is. Let's watch that video.
Today, over 100 members of Congress support a bill to fund Ozempic with Medicare at $1,500 a month. Most of these members have taken money from the manufacturer of that product, a European company called Novo Nordisk. As everyone knows, once a drug is approved for Medicare, it goes to Medicaid. And there is a push to recommend Ozempic for Americans as young as 6 over a condition, obesity, that is completely preventable and barely even existed 100 years ago. Since 74% of Americans are obese, the cost of all of them, if they take their Ozempic prescriptions, will be $3 trillion a year. This is a drug that has made Novo Nordisk the biggest company in Europe. It's a Danish company, but the Danish government does not recommend it. It recommends a change in diet to treat obesity and exercise. Virtually Novo Nordisk's entire value is based upon its projections of what Ozempic is going to sell to Americans. For half the price of Ozempic, we could purchase regeneratively raised organic agriculture, organic food for every American, 3 meals a day, and gym membership for every obese American. Why are members of Congress doing the bidding of this Danish company instead of standing up for American farmers and children? Because Novo Nordisk is one of the largest funders of medical research, the media and politicians and the medical schools all go along with them.
All right, so there was that. And let's keep going. Once again, it always pops back to the beginning, so I got to kind of scroll through. And then, of course, we're going to get into this. This will be a separate video. So I am going to kind of, I'm going to do a video about everything that Trump has done up to this point. And by the way, just to finish off the video, he's saying that we're going to deport 30,000 illegal immigrants to Guantanamo Bay. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a good idea. If you can't get them back to their original countries, we just need to set up a concentration camp here in the United States, and then put in housing for them and keep them as prisoners here until we can work out some sort of agreement. One of the guys was pointing out today in a video, he says, you can always work back channels to get these people out of the country. So, for example, China doesn't want to take back their criminals. All right. And, it's not like Colombia where Trump could bully Colombia. He can't bully China. He can't bully Russia. I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, Trump can say he's going to pass sanctions and tariffs. Russia doesn't care. You know, they've already, all the sanctions and everything, you know, the freezing of the Russian funds, all that shit's just water over the dam. Russia's just moving on. So is China, you know. So how are you going to get these Chinese nationals back to China? Well, he was saying you could work back channels to go like through Indonesia, for example, and then have Indonesia ship them back to China. So there are ways that it could be done, but putting them in contact, because then the taxpayer money is going to pay to house them in a place where they've got no rights, no privilege, and we can't bring them up on charges. You know, in a court of law. It's going to be just like the Bush years where we were torturing people unlawfully. I mean, the Bush administration was pure evil. So we don't want to go back to that. Anyway, that's it for this video. I mean, man, I didn't want it to all, I really wanted to make the Trump, you know, this is everything that's going, but I got to hit the recent events. I mean, what took place today was a travesty, man. It was unfreaking believable. And the Democrats, Democrats are satanic, man. They're demonic. I mean, the vitriol, the spitting, the way they were cutting him off. Answer the question, yes or no. Yes or no. And he's like, I can't answer that yes or no. I need to, you know, oh, we don't care. You won't answer. That means you're guilty. You're guilty. You're guilty. Peace out. Stay free.